Hey guys, I guess I'm here today to distract myself from the shameful idiocy of the American electorate for a few minutes and just bring you guys a new video. Let me turn down my music a little bit. Listening to Kind of Blue by Miles Davis. I'm going to discuss two things today really quickly as the sun is going down, so I apologize for the unnatural light that I had to add in. First, my much beloved vintage Hamilton, Illinois. I'm trying to decide whether I should sell this watch. I really like it. I have a lot of sentimental attachment to it, but I rarely wear it, and I'm wondering now if I should flip it and use whatever money I can make off of it to purchase some new pieces. Pieces I might wear more often. It's a tough decision. I really like it. This is a piece from the early to mid 1950s. I can't date it exactly, but this line of Hamilton, Illinois watches was produced only from 1953 through 1955. I love the red second hand. I love the gilt-edged and patinaed minutes and hours hand. The power reserve is very cool, and those numerals are just beautiful, at least I think. It's a very small watch. I don't have calipers, so I can't measure it exactly. I would imagine 33-ish millimeters, which looks fine on my wrist, but it is very small. I just don't wear it that often. But I know if I sell it, it's unlikely I'll see it again, at least at the price I got it at. If I find that I do miss it, it's a little bit of an oddball. This is from when Hamilton had bought Illinois Watch Company, and we're still US based, but had started importing Swiss movements. So this has some early-ish version of an ETA in it. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to decide whether or not to sell it. What do you guys think? Should I hold on to this piece, even if I only wear it every once in a while? Or should I sell it and add something perhaps more practical to my collection? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I should point out, it originally came on this elastic Speedle metal bracelet, but I have it on a De Beer Tehu lizard grain strap. Anyway, let me know what you think. I don't know, I'm very torn on this. And if anyone is totally in love with this watch, feel free to make me an offer that I can't refuse. Anyway, moving on. Now, I'm no expert on luxury Swiss watches. I don't own any yet. And so, as I take you through some of this catalog for JLC today, I can't really offer expertise on what's inside, but merely my thoughts about the aesthetic and the design. Bear with me while my camera tries to focus. This is the most recent, but the most recent JLC catalog. It's a 2016 catalog. I got it a couple months ago. Let's see. Obviously, lots of copywriting and sort of highfalutin language to try to convince you that whatever watch company you're reading about is the best one. Some views here, presumably of, it's of the Vallée de Joux, which is where JLC was founded. And then there's a city view. The view of one of the watchmakers working on just a lovely movement. Most of you will know, but for those who don't, JLC is sort of the watchmaker's watch brand. In-house movements that have been used by some of the top manufacturers in the watch world for many years. Most of the JLC pieces don't have the price tag of a Lange or a Patek, but they're one of those brands that, depending on what kind of piece you're getting, you could spend the same that you would spend on a Rolex, for instance, and get something that arguably has a more handcrafted artisan appeal if you're really into watches. I don't know why there's a picture of an orchestra there. That doesn't seem to have much to do with watches. Some text about the things the JLC has invented. I'm going to skip past some of this copywriting and get to the watches themselves. Here's a list of the collection in this catalog. There's a few that appeal to me much more than the others, so I'll probably spend more time there. So, in a world where I could afford a watch that cost as much as the JLC cost, I would love to add a Reverso to my collection. What a beautiful watch. I'd have to spend a lot of time trying them on and looking at the different sizes, the different dial and complication options, but it's sort of a dream at this point, and so I haven't really spent any time thinking about it. For those of you who don't know, of course, the Reverso is one of the original sports watches, designed for polo players so they could flip over the watch and protect the crystal in the face during their polo matches. At that point, the original Reverso was just a stainless steel back. Now there are many other options as well, but there's some of the text there if you'd like to pause and actually read it. This is the Grand Reverso calendar, very elaborate. Love that moon phase. What are the dimensions of this? I imagine it's far too big for my taste. Let's see. Does it say? Oh yeah. See, it's 48.5 by 29.5 millimeters. So yeah, I would prefer something that isn't quite as long across the wrist, especially in a square rectangular watch. I think it should look a little bit more elegant and refined and dare I say dainty, even on a man's wrist. On me, this would not. This is the Grand Reverso Duo. Oh man. Look at that. Look at that movement. It's gorgeous. It's a JLC caliber 986. Manually wound, 183 parts, 48-hour power reserve. And there's the beautiful dial. At least one side of the watch, that dial. Just gorgeous. Here's the Grand Reverso night and day. They don't have a great graphic showing this. This is just one side. I like the very classic look of this one in steel. I believe the other side of the dial is black. I'm trying to read here. Or is it just that it has a day-night indicator? I'm not sure. Oh man, the ultra-thin Duo. Whew. I mean, rose gold will have its fans and its haters, but forgetting that for a second, just look at that. Look at the option. You know, the white dial on one side, the black dial with a sub-dial on the other side. Think about how much more versatile that makes this watch. You can dress it up, especially with a strap change. You can dress it up with a brown strap and jeans if you really want to. Or you could flip it over for a night out on the town to the black dial, which is a little bit sexier, a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more intriguing. Oh, what is the size of this one? 46.8 by 27.4 millimeters. I'd have to try that on to see how it looked. It's getting there at least. It looks like a much lower beat movement. Funnily enough, it's lower beat and has a lower power reserve. I imagine they can get away with it being lower beat because the small sub-seconds hand kind of hides some of the jerkiness of a lower beat movement. You don't really notice it because it's not big enough. There's the Reverso Ultra Thin. Personally, I like the sub-seconds on the Reverso. The Reverso Duo. I don't know how to pronounce this word, to be perfectly honest, but there's another Reverso, a little bit more angular in design. I do love the silver dial and case. What is the case made out of here? Stainless steel. I love the stainless steel case and the silver dial with the blue hands and the brown alligator strap. Really classy look and really versatile. I think for some reason a lot of younger guys feel like you can't wear a dress watch casually, but I'm telling you, like, if you wear jeans that fit you and a t-shirt that fits you and looks good, this is going to look amazing with that, and of course with a suit as well. The Lady Duetto, I should say. The Lady Ultra Thin. One of my bosses at the moment actually has a tiny little vintage Reverso, which is gorgeous. Classic medium Duetto. The problem with this size would be great for me, but I cannot stand the diamonds on the one side. I find it very unappealing. It removes the restraint and class and elegance, in my opinion, from this watch, which is its whole draw to me. Oh man, I know the light's getting really bad, but wow, that's a purple strap. This, at least the silver or white dial side looks pretty much like what my boss has. I don't know what hers is on the other side, but that's the aesthetic of her watch. Ooh. Oh man, it's the classic Reverso small. So the other side is just going to be stainless steel, and they'll engrave it for you. You can get your initials or a message or a date. I don't know, possibly even some kind of design. I'm not sure how many options you have from JLC. But that to me is pure elegance. I'd love it if it had the sub-seconds. Perhaps it can't in this small of a package. It's 34 by 21 millimeters. And guys with smaller wrists, like, don't be put off by that. I bet that looks amazing with a suit. There's a Master Grand Tradition collection. I'm just going to quickly flip through this. A minute repeater. I cannot read the French. Perpetual calendar and tourbillon, I guess. This is far too blingy for me, but it's very, very cool. It's a tourbillon Celeste. Try to get the light a little bit better for you. I mean, very, very elaborate and beautiful, but too much for me. I couldn't wear it. Way too blingy. There's another collection that I really like for its restraint and elegance, the Master Ultra Thin. Ultra Thin tourbillon, not my thing, but very, very impressive, of course. I mean, how thin is it? It's a tourbillon. Let's see. It doesn't seem to say how thin it actually is. Oh, sorry, it's up here. This watch measuring just 11.3 millimeters thick, which is pretty incredible for a tourbillon. Very, very nice. Ultra thin perpetual calendar, gorgeous. A little bit more modern looking than the sort of, I think, standard Patek perpetual calendar aesthetic. This is not quite as elaborate. Ultra thin moon phase, which you can get in rose gold or stainless steel. That blue second hand is just gorgeous. Oh man, I would love to own that. Although I'd probably get it in stainless steel. Oh man, look at that. The movement is 4.9 millimeters thick. Whew. There's another ultra thin, very complicated looking. This is a very restrained, elegant one without a central seconds hand. It's also 41 millimeter diameter, which I think is a bit strained for something this elegant and refined looking. I think on a smaller wrist it would, I don't know, it would look out of balance. On a larger gentleman, of course, it might be perfect. That's the ultra thin date. I'm not a huge fan of that. The date is sort of jarring in such a simple watch. Ooh. Master Ultra Thin. Love that aesthetic. 38.5 millimeter diameter. It says it has a sapphire case back. I love the small seconds hand. the slight detail of the applied seconds track. Oh, that's gorgeous. Perfect size too, 38.5. And there's a shot, sorry about the shadow this time of night. There's a shot of the movement you'd be able to see through the display back, which is stunning, really, really beautiful. The ultra-thin 1907, again without the central seconds. I really like the stick markers design there. It has kind of a minimalist, almost German aesthetic to it. Very attractive, really elegant. And this is a hand-wound watch, so you get to me, the more appealing view of a hand-wound movement compared to an automatic movement. Started to sort of resent rotors when you can see the case, when you can see through the case back. It's a master control line. Very sort of elaborate and kind of modern looking. Not my cup of tea. That's very cool though. I imagine a little bit big. Oh, it's only 39 millimeters. That's a very cool watch. I think it would be more attractive without the Arabic numerals, to be honest. In the hour track, I mean. Of course, you need them for the date function. But I don't know. I think that if it was sort of the same markers they've used elsewhere on the dial, it would be more attractive. There's a dual time watch. Very plain. Again, the date just looks so jarring in such a plain watch, I think. Not really my thing here. Very elaborate, sort of more design-oriented, more aesthetic and fashion-oriented. Oh, that's just, to me, that's hideous. I mean, I know it's a beautiful watch construction-wise, but it's just ugly. I wouldn't wear any of these so far, personally. I don't think I'm their correct market anyway. Just a 2 metre collection. That's very cool. I mean, it's complicated, but it's still very cool. It's got the 2 dials, a sort of separate seconds hand and seconds track. 42 millimeters, probably because it's so complicated, so I couldn't really wear it personally, but very cool watch. Another take on the travel time arrangement. This is a chronograph version. Very cool looking. There's the Geophysic collection. Oh man, that is a complicated world timer. Look at that. I don't really care for the aesthetic, to be honest, but I know some of you will find it really appealing. Geophysic date. There's a beautiful picture of the movement with the gold rotor. It's very attractive. That date works better to me with the outline and the gold. It unifies it more than some of the other ones we've seen. The Master Extreme line, very sporty modern watches. Again, not my thing at all. Deep sea chronograph. I mean, there's elements of that aesthetic I like, but I'd rather have a vintage deep sea of some kind. I'm not familiar with this range, this collection. Ultra thin minute repeater flying tourbillon. I bet that's absurdly expensive. Oof. There's a very complicated reverso. Another beautiful watch. It's a little bit too complicated for me. And 45 millimeters it says, which is very big. And the Atmos. These are the atomic clocks that I don't know exactly how they work. They wind in some way based on the atmosphere in the room, if I'm understanding that correctly, the humidity and air pressure. If you guys know more about them, feel free to explain below. You can get them, some of the older, less complicated versions, for $500 or $600 refurbished online. Of course, newer and more complicated ones are going to be a lot more expensive. There's a moon phase version that's very, very attractive. I'd love to own that. And then more information about the collection as a whole and boutiques, prices, things like that. Anyway, I thought I'd just flip through that with you guys. It's really a beautifully bound, beautifully made coffee table book. You can get this for free. Just go to JLC's website. I'll leave a link below. And you can just request one to be mailed to you. I definitely recommend it if you like watches. It's really fun to look at and read. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Let me know what you think about selling that vintage piece from the beginning of this episode. And I hope you enjoyed looking through some of JLC's catalog. Leave a comment below, subscribe, and like if you want to see more content, and I will do my best for you. I do have a little vintage watch coming at the end of the month, which I'll show you guys. Thanks.